What's up, everybody? So I'm making this video, which I'm pretty excited about making it because I know it's going to shift something for a few people, not just one. It's going to shift for more than one person. And I'm going to share a really personal story about how I upgraded my life. And it didn't happen in the most conventional way, but sometimes it takes certain things to happen. And I haven't really talked about this video or this story for some time, but hey Kaylee, but I was just on a call. I just did a 90-minute intensive with one of my clients, and I was like, oh, I got to share this story while it's fresh. And I literally went into my bathroom where I keep this little note that I made to myself, and I got it out to show her and to really help her understand the ways that she and the ways that we keep ourselves broke, the way that we keep ourselves struggling, the way we keep ourselves settling, and that we don't realize that we're doing it. We think that we're doing everything that we can do. Hey Vicky, we think we're doing everything we can do. We tell ourselves all these stories that keep us safe and that we have enough money and that we are happy where we live or we're happy with our job, and we essentially just keep ourselves suffering. And it's a feeling of normalized suffering, because your suffering and not being happy has become so normal that it's just like the way of being. And when we look around at a lot of our friends and family, we'll see that a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are just settling, and they're like, it's almost like, you have this like kind of thing just on you, like you got stabbed with something, and you're like, yeah, but it's just here. I could kind of like just like put a band-aid on it and just deal with it, but kind of hurts if I bump into it. So here's the deal. Hi Talitha, hi David, hi Alexandra. I'm gonna share this story, and it's a cute story, but it was a time that it's a time that I totally realized I was selling myself short. And it was the time that I decided I had to move. I had to break my lease. I had to say fuck everything. And I'm going to use that word because it's the way I felt. I realized that I was keeping myself, my daughter, and little Pablo in a way that we didn't have to be. So here's the deal. Here's the story. He's trying to freak out because I know someone just dropped something off at my door. So here's the deal. You guys know this year has been incredible for my business. Last year, I was freaking broke. It was the first year. My 2-year mark in business is going to be October 1st, where I actually announced my business. At that time, I never sold anything, but I announced my business in 2015 of October. And I shared some things, and I was like, here, these are things I want to do, but I didn't really sell anything. I made my first money in December of 2015, and then 2016 was chaotic craziness, and I was broke. But I invested the money that I did have and went into like all sort of craziness with like people that I love and debt, because I was like, you know what? I know I have this vision and it's going to work out. But there were times where I had money and I was still suffering in certain ways because I was programmed to. And this is one of the stories. Wealth consciousness is worth consciousness. I talk about this all the time. And once you understand that everything that you're looking at in your life, whether you like it or not, it's because you said, this is what I deserve. This is what is good enough for me. This is what on some level I feel like I'm worthy of. Once we're clear on that, we're clear on it. Hi, Erica. Hey, Naomi. Okay, so here's the story. In March, I was having one of those seasons where I'm shifting. I just had this season, and I was like, something's not working. I was sharing a program that like didn't really feel good. I didn't really want to sell it. And hey, Kyle, and it just wasn't working. And I was like, yeah, but this was working for the past 3 months, and I've had my breakthrough months. Like in this business, everyone's first breakthrough is like $10,000. That's the first thing you want to do. So I had my first $10,000 month. It was like $15,000 in January. January, February, March, things were great. And then March came. At the end of March, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And I was like, what's happening? Is this just a fluke? Maybe I'm not going to make this much money anymore. Whatever. And I had a little freak out. But what happened is something in me told me to go on vacation, which is like the exact opposite that most people think. When you're living in lack and scarcity, you think, oh my God, my money is tight right now. I better save. That's a no-no. That's a no-no, guys, by the way. For anybody that has done my Wake Up Your Wealth Consciousness, you know that. When you're feeling like you're lacking, you have to show up and express. You have to realize that you're abundant. Anyway, I had this saying that I need to go on vacation. So part of me is like dying inside and is like, I'm scared. I don't have enough money. What am I going to do? I don't know where my next money is coming from. And At the time, I'm living in a place that I hated. I lived in a 1-bedroom with Chanel, and this is my place that I call like my gritty place, where I was like, we need to move here for 1 year because I need to save money, because I need to make this business work. My daughter was down with it. We moved. So we're in this place. It's March, and I'm like, we're going on vacation. We look up Big Sur. We end up going to Carmel. And I'm looking it up, and I pick this hotel, and I pick the hotel that's I keep saying apartment because it leads to my apartment. I'll get to that. So we're going to Carmel, and I pick this place that looks cute. It has a little wine reception, because you know that's kind of like wine country up there, and it's $150 a night. So I'm like, I can do this. $150 a night. We're not going to spend that much when we get there. I'm like keeping myself broke my entire time on this vacation. So we get there. We get to Carmel. The whole time I'm like fighting down the stress of like, I shouldn't be going on vacation, feeling kind of guilty. We get there, and this hotel was scary. It was scary. I was scared there. Little Pablo was like freaking out, and he was scared. Chanel was scared. So at this point, it didn't really matter about the $150 versus the $400 place. What was in my mind was, I need to be safe right now. So we get to this place after driving for 6 hours. It's nighttime. It's dark. We're all kind of freaked out because we're in the middle of the like mountain country. And I'm just like, we're all sitting on the couch, and there's like the bed over there, a couch, and the toilet was over by the kitchen. And I was just like, we're sitting there, and I'm like trying to be courageous. And I was just like, I'm not going to sleep here. I'm not going to sleep. So I go on my phone, and I'm on Expedia, and I'm like looking at hotels. And then that's when I find this place that I'm going to show you, this little note that I wrote to myself to be a reminder of my own worthiness forever. And I tell Chanel, I'm like, you know what? I upgraded it. I was like calculating the money in my head, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't give a shit. I know that I'm not sleeping here. We just drove all this time. I'm not driving home, so I'm upgrading. So we upgraded this place that ends up being from $150 a night to $400 a night. We get there, and can I tell you, it was like mind-blowing how different it felt. The energy of that place, the way that it made us feel was so different. So here's the thing, is in there, I get there, and it's like beautiful, this big fireplace. It's a golf course. It's a lodge, like a country club. And there's like a nice restaurant. I'm like ordering a glass of wine, and I'm like by the fire. Little Pablo is calm. Everyone is calm. And I just realized in that moment, I was like, really? Like, I was trying to save this few $100s for all of this. And we get to our room, and it's like this beautiful, expansive room with this like beautiful patio, this golf course, like waterfalls, everything. So the next morning, we wake up, and I decided that I'm totally unplugging from everything, and just, I know that like there was something coming, like a download from the divine was coming, so I had to make space for it. And in that moment, that morning, I saw my daughter and my little puppy walking, and they were so happy, and everyone was comfortable, and everything felt right. And in that moment, I realized, this is what I do with my life. This is what I do with my life. I am so worried about saving a few $100s that I would put my happiness, joy, well-being, like this expansiveness. I put money in place of that. And why do I do that? Because I feel like that's the only choice. Because isn't that how we feel when we tell the stories about how much money we have and how much money we don't have? And I'm here to tell you today that that's a lie. It's an illusion. And you may say, well, how's that an illusion? Because you look at my bank account, and it's looks pretty real to me. But in that moment, because of my own worthiness, when I went home, I crushed it the next 3 months. Crushed it. And I want to show you the little note that I wrote to myself that I actually keep right in my bathroom as a reminder for any time. And last night I was reminded of this because one of my friends, she is like staying with her family, and she was really uncomfortable, and I know she has the money for a hotel, so she's like kind of complaining about it and making it a joke. And you know, she's like me, she's in her 30s, and she's like, yeah, it's uncomfortable. I'm like, girl, go buy a hotel. Like, you have to buy a hotel. You deserve to spend $200 on a hotel and have your own bed and be comfortable, right? And what I've learned from this is that whenever we say yes, the universe mirrors us back. Yes, okay, I'll support you. So even in me, I did all of that stuff, and I spent that extra money that I told myself I didn't have. And what I realized was that I was supported. So money came through something else. Someone ended up paying me early, or something happened, and I felt fine. Chanel and I were over like at Pebble Hill. Is that the name of the golf resort? We were like eating oceanfront dining. From then on, I decided that I deserve it all, and more than I even thought last time. So here's a little note that I wrote to myself. It says, and it's not, you guys, I write like a 5-year-old boy, okay, that just learned how to write English. So don't you judge me. But it says, upgrade it. You deserve it, all of it. And it says, look, the little place, the little Quail Lodge, like, I write this and I remind myself of this all the time. And I want to remind you of it today. That look at the way that you're living life and the way that you tell yourself you don't have it or you're not going to have it. You don't know how to afford it. You can't figure it out. I just want you to know that all of us can afford it. All of us do have it. But the thing is that we're all born rich, right? But we don't believe it because we have been so programmed to be poor. And we're poor in mindset, right? And at any given time, we can do what I just did, right? And perhaps you have to go through your own struggles with it, but we can also have our own revelations before we go through the struggles, right? And yes, Vicky, upgrade all the time, right? Because we have to. So I want you to look around in your life right now and think about the ways that you've been telling yourself this is enough. And you know, one of the biggest things that have happened for me lately is I look around, and if I'm really honest, I was thinking that this is the most that I deserve right now. And it wasn't an intellectual conscious decision. It was just like, well, of course, this is what I wanted for so long. It's great, isn't it? Like, this is great. And I'm not struggling. Things feel good. So, but I know that this is still so small. It's still so small because there's all kinds of things that I want to do. So it's like just expanding and opening to the next thing. Paige, I didn't even know you were on here. What's up? Of course, I just talked about self-worth and my wealth and my, yes. Yes. I always tell Paige, I'm like, I'm feeling your stuff. We're on the same wavelength here. But so think about this, like what I wrote to myself and what I discovered for myself, what my friend I had pointed out to her, and what I just pointed out to my client are the ways that we say that we're struggling, but it's because we're choosing to. And we choose to because we continuously say, I don't have it, or I'm not going to have it. So just notice if it's your house, you don't like where you live, you want to upgrade where you live. So let me get back to the story. So back in that time, that was in March, that was like early March or something. And when I had that revelation, Chanel and I had like a really beautiful trip for the rest of the trip, because after that we're upgrading everything. But when I came back home, I decided, because where we were living, I was living in a place where like I wouldn't walk Pablo. I'm not walking Pablo. Actually, I wasn't even allowed to have a dog. I snuck and kept Pablo. Hey Nick, hey Mandy. And I just decided in that time that I was going to abandon anything that was settling. Any way in my life that felt like settling, I was going to just abandon the fuck out of it, because I don't need that. And when I went to Tony Robbins later in that month, I actually had an opportunity to buy like a floor ticket. And I was like, in my mind was still playing those games with me. It was like, you don't really need to sit on the floor and spend all this money for this ticket. You've already gone 2 times this year. But I knew that I wanted to be around people that spend that much money on themselves. And more, I want to be around people that many times a year that invest in their growth. And so in that short amount of time, I just decided anything that looks like his friends, Chanel's just trying to FaceTime me, and I'm like, no, I'm giving a lesson real quick. Wait for a second. Whether it is friends, whether it is business things that settle, or the way that you're settling in your life, relationships, homes, anything, stop it. Say it's done. You deserve more. Until you say you deserve more, the universe will mirror that back to you. And it's really, if you don't believe in the universe and giving you anything, it's life is mirroring it back to you. So know that. And just like I said, upgrade, you can upgrade. But so now I live at the beach, right? Like when I see Pablo and Chanel and me walking around, it actually mirrors what I saw at that resort. And that just feels really good to me, right? I saw us being so comfortable and living in this place that felt like a resort, and now where I live feels like a damn resort. It really feels like a resort. And it was all a choice. At the time when I was doing that, I was paying $1,500 in rent, and now I'm paying $3,200 in rent. That was a few month time difference, because I decided, Mandy said it's so pretty, because Mandy came and she was like, this is like a beach resort, right? But it was because I decided in that moment, I am done choosing this for myself. I'm done choosing this for myself, and it's a no-brainer. It's a never again. And now when I'm digging to find my next level self, I'm deciding what is my new standard, right? What is the new standard? And in my new standard, I decided that, it looks like these kinds of investments. It looks like this kind of relationships. It looks like these kinds of friendships. It looks like these kinds of conversations. It looks like this kind of way of being, this kind of travel. You know what? It was even me saying that I'm going to bring my niece in, who maybe doesn't have a chance to experience all of this stuff, and gift her with this sort of lifestyle too. But you know what? I went out with my friend last weekend, and she was like, yeah, it's kind of tough, like bringing on another person and like thinking of how much it's going to cost, and you can't buy for one and not the other. And I'm like, I really trust that it'll just work out. Like, I don't see it as cutting down any of my money or cutting down anything that I'm going to do. I see it as like life is going to expand to meet my new needs because I said yes. And that's the truth for all of us. So I hope this helped you. If you just came on at the end, I invite you to watch it from the beginning, because it's a story that is my true story of when I realized that I was kind of just cutting myself short, and that when I realized to write myself this note and say no more, right? And when we say no more, life matches us. So what are you going to say no more about this weekend? Share it with me. I would love to hear it. And I will promise you this, that it will manifest if you decide that it's an absolute must. But if you don't decide that it's a must, and you continue to settle in life, you will continue to experience settling. But settling is a choice. And one of the things that I like to say that I'm in the business of is no more settling. And for anyone that wants to know more about this, I have something that is coming in. I'm launching it in a couple days, and it's going to be something amazing. Wake Up Your Wealth is coming back out, and I have affiliates for that. So if you've taken Wake Up Your Wealth and you want to start helping spread that out there and get paid for it, then let me know. But you have to have already taken the course and really believe in the course. Otherwise, I don't want you selling my stuff, because then you're lying and it's out of integrity, right? But let me know if it has worked for you. Reach out to me. Another thing that's coming is Soul Illumination, which is my private intensives for 6 weeks for someone going through transition. So if you're going through a job change, you're going through a breakup, you want to break up, you are realizing that you're settling in health, you're settling in your, relationships or in your home, anything that you're settling in. It's a 6-week breakthrough to realizing that you are worthy of so much more. And we do that through not intellectual, that's through a series of really shedding and diving into layers. So, top affiliate. Kaylee says she's a top affiliate. Well, I don't know. Chris earlier was like, I'm going to sell this all day. So it's cool. See, this is what happens, guys. If you show up and do what you're called to do, then you will show up, and life is going to support you in this. You're going to have your people. Like, you are going to find the people that need what you got. And that's just the way it is. And actually, while I was with my last client talking about this, which now led to this healing that's going to take place, because someone's going to walk away from this live stream today and be like, damn, I've been settling, like, I'm done with that. Is that I'm going to do something on sales. I'm going to do something on sales, and it's going to be like Wake Up Your Wealth. It's going to be like a 3-hour program with a workbook, and it's going to be how to get out of your way when it comes to selling, because here's what I believe. It's not selling. It is something else. We can call it selling because that's what we relate to it as, and that is something like, it's a symbol for what we're doing. But we're not selling. We're inviting people to change their lives. And if you really believe that what you have changes people's lives, it's not selling. But when we're spiritual and when we care and when we have integrity, we feel icky because of maybe past sales experience. But anyway, that's another thing. You guys will find out about that later. But I love you guys. Love you, Kaylee. Love you, Chris. Love all of you. Courtney, I see you're still on here. Love you too. So I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend, and share this with someone that you know needs this message and that may be settling or that wants to kind of have their breakthrough. All right, guys. Bye.